the individual who sees that something is amiss in the world, sees also the opportunity to make it better, and who pulls up his or her socks, creates the venture, summons the resources, assumes the risk, and drives that venture unrelentingly to bring about change that she or he envisions so clearly, that's an entrepreneur. That's a social entrepreneur. That is a rare individual.
Hi, welcome to Social Entrepreneurship School. In this lesson, we'll be talking about communication and networking. You've found a cause you want to dedicate your social enterprise to, and you think you've come up with a great solution. But your work isn't done yet. You need to introduce people to this offering. While it is relatively simple to market to the masses, devoting time and resources to identify more targeted markets can help you maximize your marketing return of interest. Marketing is the activity and process for creating, communicating, delivering, and exchanging offerings that have value for customers, clients, partners, and society at large. It's one of the most important things a business can do. Not only does it build brand awareness, it can increase sales, grow businesses, and engage customers. Yet, a survey from 2015 shows that 1/5 of social enterprises in the UK say they're not good at marketing, branding, and PR. More than half consider themselves average at best. It's not surprising. Communication isn't necessarily prioritized among other operation tasks, and it's often considered something anyone can do and also very time-consuming. However, there are simple things you can think about to get your marketing ball rolling. 1. Create an editorial calendar. It doesn't have to be fancy, as long as it contains enough information to map your message across the year, and you can track when you plan on publishing new blogs, videos, articles, etc. Afterwards, add a schedule to follow up promotions so you don't lose momentum. Ask yourself what messages are most critical to deploy in your channels at what time during the year. Once you have everything mapped out, it'll be easy for you or others to execute, and you can more smoothly roll individual elements into a larger message if you plan ahead. Use what you have. A common misconception is that effective content marketing strategy requires lots of content. In reality, you can gain lots of visibility without lots of content, especially if you have an article or video that's presenting a new or innovative idea. It'll stay relevant for longer than you might think. Promoting it multiple times across several weeks will give it greater traction and allow people to digest the information and message. Come up with a way to track the results of your content. If certain contents aren't getting the traction you expected, make some adjustments. Ultimately, the time you spend creating original content is precious, so make it worthwhile. Speak human. Too often, social entrepreneurs believe branding needs to sell directly, so they push rather than pull. If customers feel like your brand was created by them and for them, you're light years ahead of your competitors. There's nothing more important than understanding what your customers want and using their voice to communicate the brand. Remove sales pitch from your branding and replace them with descriptions of how your brand connects with people and builds relationships. Storytelling is gaining relevance in strategy consulting and the communication of enterprise success stories worldwide. When developing your enterprise story, identify the relevant enterprise employees, partners, clients, and intermediaries. Look at how BioLite is able to tie their products, the value that they bring to customers, and the social impact they're making in a straightforward yet personable way.
BioLite is bringing clean cooking and charging to thousands of people in India and Africa. Each and every one of our stoves uses less than half the fuel and produces 90% fewer toxic emissions than a traditional open fire, with the added benefit of an extra charge. And we couldn't have done this without you, our customers. Each and every one of you plays a part. Every time you go off the grid with BioLite in the great outdoors, you're supporting development for places off the grid everywhere.
Energy is a basic human need. It cooks our food, lights up the dark, and keeps us connected.
We started BioLite because traditional approaches to energy problems just weren't working. We needed more than new technology. We needed a business that could bring that technology to the people who need it most. A business based on real-world market demands, not charity. Solutions to big problems aren't easy, and they require thoughtful, long-term development that many companies just can't support. BioLite builds solutions to real-world problems into our recreational equipment, and those sales support how we get these solutions out to the rest of the world. We're creating a new way of doing business, empowering people to power themselves.
You, our customers, empower us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now that you have an idea of how to speak to your audience, what are you going to speak about? Your messaging should be a conscious exchange with your audience, matching up their motivators and eliminating their perceived barriers. 1. The best marketing tool is you, your impact, your opinions. As a social enterprise, your ability to tell your story and that of your enterprise is one of your most powerful tools. It has the personal touch, so try to scout out speaking engagements, blogs, and editorial articles as much as possible. Communicate your impact in a clear, dynamic, relevant way. When you create marketing content, consider these questions, which would help you decide what materials and what format will yield the highest impact. Does your brand story convey a message that resonates with your audience? Is it relevant to their need? What's the benefit to your audience? Is your message about empowerment and bringing positive change? What kind of change do you envision to bring out? We all have challenges at different times. How can you shift a disadvantageous perspective to a positive one? Can you see an opportunity from a different perspective and exploit it in different ways? 2. Find the right channels. How are your marketing touchpoints relevant to your audience? Client meetings, social media, websites, and mobile apps are all possible channels through which you should be engaging your audience. You need to find a way to utilize these different touchpoints to express your cause in one unified voice. Early-stage enterprises also make the mistake of prioritizing reach while building online communities. Scheduling tools for channels such as Twitter and Facebook adverts are seen as fantastic, easy options to reach big numbers. But this doesn't help in driving engagement. And engagement is crucial to sustaining online communities. Inclusivity ensures that an audience stays interested and adds value to your organization's outreach. Leveraging two-way communication through active forums such as Google Groups or Facebook Groups. Make sure that conversation with the audience isn't stifled. Don't spend so much time on your owned channels, like your website or newsletter, bearing in mind how much or little traffic and promotion they generate. Focus on the channels where you can get high hit rates, like shared channels. Social media sites where you produce the initial content, but it can be forwarded, interpreted, and translated. Or non-owned channels, the media that give you little control but high influence. 3. A common mistake in communications is to put too much emphasis on the fact that you're a social enterprise. Even though your social mission is a fundamental part of your business, to a certain number of your consumers, this simply won't matter. Especially if your enterprise has a model that relies on the business as a funding mechanism to support social activities. The social aspect of a business will have to be secondary to demonstrating a quality product or service, and your focus should be on convincing people why your product or service will benefit their lives. You can follow up with the fact that their money is going towards a good cause, but don't always or only lead with it.
Our product was matching up really well to your normal standard kind of packets of fresh herbs that you would buy in a shop, in a supermarket, in a greengrocer. Our stuff was tasting really great and probably better. So the fact that our stuff was of such good quality, we were delighted with. And I guess one of our biggest challenges was that was where our thinking ended. We knew we had a good product. We thought our job was done. And when our stuff hit the shelves, it just wasn't moving, it wasn't selling, and we were confused and we were trying to figure out what was going on. And we were really fortunate that a couple of our first customers and the shop owners took us under their wings and, I guess in a sense, mentored us about how to sell our product. And actually, regardless of all of the other good stuff we were doing with young people and reclaiming disused urban land, we needed to get this right. We needed to get the product and produce to sell so that we could keep doing what we were doing. And so then we needed to kind of take a fresh look at this whole packaging situation, because what we were doing just wasn't working. It needed to sit alongside other really posh produce and very well packaged produce, and it needed to look like it belonged there, not like it was, you know, the poor cousin that had been ripped from a neighbour's garden or something, which it kind of did. And it needed to be priced well, and it also needed to tell the story of where it had come from and what buying this packet of fresh herbs was going to do for young people in the area.
But as you know, operating a social enterprise is more than selling to customers. So identify the people your brand is talking to and figure out what their journeys are, what their concerns are, and how you can connect with them best. Align your social good efforts with your customers' values, and they'll be more willing to advocate for and support your brand. Now that we've covered the basics of communication and networking, it's time for you to brainstorm some ideas of your own. What marketing strategies can you think of that would effectively promote both your business and social cause? What elements would you have to include? What channels are you going to choose? Tell us about your ideas in the discussion page.